Hi, and we're back.
We're back with a new episode of Bickering with Christian and Moti. Moti and Christian.
Look who's here.
We have a special guest today. We're so excited to have him here. He is a mogul, an icon.
Keep going.
The points guy, Brian Kelly, is
The
here.
original points
The
guy.
original
There's a lot of
points
points
guy.
guys and girls now, but
There's a lot. There's really a lot. It's hard to keep up with them. But you're the OG. You're the
I'm the OG.
trailblazer.
Yeah, I'm the Vicky Gunvalson of travel bloggers.
You know, it's kind of insane to think of like because I feel like you started as like a travel blogger, a points
Yeah.
blogger, and now you have like this empire. It's an empire, Christian. I was telling this to Christian. I'm like, Christian, we each had this opportunity of creating our brands into empires. Brian Kelly did it. We just sat
a
down
ride.
and looked cute, posting outfits. So tell us, how is that? How is being the points guy?
Being the points guy is great. It's a good gig. So I started as just a blog. I worked on Wall Street, and I've always been like a points ninja. Like in the 90s, I figured out how to use my dad's frequent flyer miles. We go to the Caribbean every year. So fast forward, it's like 2010. I'm working at Morgan Stanley. You know, the financial crisis is kind of over, but I was flying first class everywhere because I was in recruiting. So I would travel to all the colleges, and I learned early on I could put all the expenses on my corporate Amex. And so all of a sudden I'm like making, millions of points a year. I didn't have a lot of money, but I used those points every weekend. I was flying first class to London, Paris. All my coworkers thought I was like a fraud. They're like, "Are you Anna Delvey?" I'm like, "No, it's my Amex points, you idiots." And none of my coworkers are like, "Oh, signing up for an Amex, you have to pay a fee." But I was like, fine, I'll put everyone's expenses on my card. So I was like a points millionaire, like living on a $70,000 a year salary. But so that's why I started the Points Guys. It was just a fun blog. My friend set me up with the domain.
I love it.
I did it while I was at Morgan Stanley. And it was like 9 months in, it just blew up. The New York Times wrote about it. And then it was,
How far in? 9 months?
it's 9 months. Yeah, I quit my job. I started June of 2010, and in April of 2011 was the month when I got into affiliate marketing. So the credit card companies came to me and started paying me for writing the same content I was writing, because points,
Right.
it's, to this day, it's still all about credit cards. So I joked that I was blogging on a gold mine, because I'm just writing about credit cards every day. And then my friend who worked for an affiliate company was like, "You moron. Do you know if you use one of our links, you'll get paid?" And I was like, "Oh, it sounds scammy." And he's like, "Dude, you'll get paid $300 per approval."
Oh, that's a good affiliate
And
link.
I'm like, I had like 50,000 monthly readers to my site, but it was growing every month. And I was like, if only a tiny bit. I was like, tell me more. And so I got into affiliate marketing, and the same month, the New York Times it actually here's a tip for any aspiring entrepreneur, like always check your spam inbox, because I was just going through my spam box one day, and it was New York Times media request. And I remember I was in Madrid visiting my friend, and my heart stopped. And I was like, okay, this is spam. And it was Seth Kugel, the frugal travel columnist back in 2011. And he was like, "Oh, my readers keep telling me about this points thing. And I tell them, if you're a budget traveler, you shouldn't do points." And I was like, "You are so wrong." I was like, "Meet me at this bar in Soho." So I met with him for 3 hours, changed his mind, and he wrote this glowing article. And so I quit my job. So I quit my job April of the next year. I actually didn't. My parents were petrified that I was not going to have health insurance. So I stayed on until June. So it was 1 year from my first blog post. And then less than a year later, I sold it to a publicly traded company. But I'm still there all these years later. Still
so
kicking.
insane.
I joke that they're going to have to pull me from my first class suite,
Oh my God. And
a good gig.
how many people work there now?
We've got like 120.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That is so impressive.
And up in 2020, I was CEO up until 2020, but I kind of had a moment where I was just traveling nonstop, running this business. We had launched in the UK. Our parent company's in Charlotte. I had a tech team in Austin, our headquarters in New York, and I was just constantly traveling, plus doing a lot of charity work, plus trying to have a personal life. And I was just like, the math doesn't add up. And then bam, the pandemic hit, and it was like no travel. And I just had a moment to just be like, what do I actually want? Life's been really cool. I've gotten so that's when I decided I wanted to have a kid, started riding horses, just started I really hit the reset button on my life. And I think it's COVID obviously is not the best thing that happened ever, but for me personally, as this opportunity sort of almost midlife to not travel and just have a moment of where do you want to go with this was incredible.
Wow, that was such an inspiring story, and so incredible. Literally every time I think of a blog influencer or blogger that did it, and made it, I always think of you. So
Thank you.
really congrats. You did say that I was going to go on the next topic of when did you finally say you want to have a baby, but you just told us COVID. Well,
yeah, I've always wanted to have a baby. I think for me, being in my 30s in New York, business is booming, life's good. It's just, I never took a breath. I was traveling so much and just caught up, working a lot too. And it wasn't the time. Like my 30s, I had a lot of fun. I would not have been the dad I am today then. So yeah, COVID allowed me to literally just hit the reset button.
The brakes.
And I've always said I wanted to be a dad in my 30s. So I think I was 37 at beginning of COVID. And so I just started the process like late in 2020, found an amazing surrogate in 21. And then I transferred the embryo January of 22 and had my baby in October. And now he turns 1 this week, which is so.
Oh my God! Happy birthday, Dean!
He's been to 10 countries. It's insane. Like,
is he diamond medallion yet?
Yeah, he's not earning miles because he's. I was booking him his own seats in the beginning, but now he's too big for his car seat, and so now he just sits in my lap, kind of Britney Spears style.
That's fine.
But put a little seatbelt around him. He's good.
Oh, and that's so cute. Oh my God! So how do you balance like your life and being a dad?
Well. I still
By the way, just so you know, Christian's always way loud. I don't know why you're so quiet today.
It's really interesting. So I'm hearing. Also, I mean, because we're having a discussion, but
do you guys want to have kids?
I mean, we were talking
he wants
about
a kid.
it.
I don't want the kid.
I definitely want a kid.
I know I'm gonna take care of the kid.
Yeah.
So because I take care of the dog, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same dynamic at home. I will be taking care of the babies. So you put me in a house in Westchester, sure.
I mean,
do it.
You are giving Stepford wife vibes.
Yeah, that's what I want to do with my life. I'm already at that age.
Yeah, I mean,
we're really interested in hearing your story.
Yeah.
Because we might be there at some point in the future.
Yeah, how do you balance it all? Like you travel so much, you work so much, you're an investor for this, you just do so much. How do you balance it?
I mean, I work from home. So I think every parent, like especially working parents, it's tough. Like you want to be there for your kid and then you feel guilty when you work, but then like your kid needs. So I'm fortunate. I have an amazing, amazing nanny who I deeply trust, like with my son's life. He loves her. She loves him. So she's with me during the week. And then on the weekends, so basically I have help, as a single gay dad. I mean, I would be lying if I said I deeply depend on like incredible, the nannies that help me through the process. So, and I work from home. So even on days when I have meetings, I get to see my son throughout the day. Even if it's like a 10-minute little play, read a book. So I'm very fortunate. But even though I work from home and see my son every day, like there's still times when at night I'm like, am I spending enough time? And I think most parents, especially your first year when you're just deciding like what's up and what's down, like what's the new norm with the baby. But like, when your baby's doing well. My son is so happy, healthy, hitting all of his like growth,
so cute.
milestones. He started walking at 11 months. Like he's thriving. But as a parent, you're still always like, I know so many other parents, like I think we're raised, in business, like influence, like everything. It's like, you're always, everything is like, you're judging yourself and your performance and metrics and analytics. And it's hard with kids. You don't have that, but you do know deep down. So to answer your question, you just go with it. You figure out what the new normal is. And it just does get better. Like every phase of this first year, I've loved, like little nugget phase when he was just a bald little alien in my arm. And I took like 2 months off in the beginning just to do a daddy daycare. I still had a nanny, but like every morning, at least for 6 hours, he would be with me. Like I wanted to have like blocks of time dedicated to that. But yeah, it's challenging, but my best tip is like, don't be afraid to lean on help because it takes a village.
I know that you mentioned before we started filming that you're in a relationship.
6 months.
Was it hard to date while you're a father?
So I didn't want to date before becoming a dad because when Dean came, I had it all planned out. He was born in Santa Barbara in this beautiful like little. So I rented a house out in Montecito. It was the best like month of my life. So I wanted to be out in California before my child, and I wanted to just be there for him. So I didn't really date in 2022 because I'm like, I don't want to have a new relationship because I knew like. Especially being a single dad, I'm like, I just need to put everything into my son.
Yeah. So
I made the conscious decision to not date. And then I turned 40 in March of this year and I spent a month in Portugal and I threw a big party and I was like, so then like in the months early
we saw
in 20
Kim Petras performed. We're a little salty we weren't invited.
I know, well, just get on the list, you can start now for 50, so then I was like, I didn't want to date before my 40th. So I was like, when I come home from my 40th birthday at the end of March, I'm like, I'm going to just like start. And April 1st, I was out at a friend's birthday in Philly, and I'm at a bar, and I see this 6'4" gorgeous guy. He came up to me and was like, I'm the tallest queen in Philly. Who are you? And I was like, bitch, back up. And that was it. Now we've it's hot and heavy. He's traveled the world with me. My son loves him.
Oh, I was about to say, did he meet the?
Oh yeah, he
Dean?
met Dean pretty early on. I'm not good at like. I mean, and Dean's so young where I didn't really have to be like worry at first. Like he's not going to remember the first couple years of his life. So like, if he was like 4 and like I'd be much more protective of like not getting him attached to someone who might not be there. But so yeah, it's just kind of like one crazy little family now. So
how old is
he's 30. So I just turned 40 and he just turned 30.
God,
let's see how that dynamic goes.
That's literally exactly like us.
You're all here wants to party every
It
night.
seems to be working with you guys.
It's literally us. We're 10 years
now I'm
apart.
partying like a 30-year-old, and I just want to be home. No, that's a lot.
And now I want to party.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now I want to go out. When we first met, like he was definitely the party guy. I was more the homebody.
He's ready for Westchester.
Yeah. Where's Westchester?
Connecticut.
Oh yeah, he's ready for Westchester. Yeah, he's ready for Connecticut. Yeah.
But I have a house in New Hope, Pennsylvania, which is like 90 minutes from New York City. It's this most beautiful little river town. It's like often overlooked when people think of like the suburbs. It's like, it's chic.
Yeah.
Gigi Hadid is my neighbor.
Wow.
It's
I
like
still need
there's
to be close to the city if I want to have like a crazy night out on Saturday night.
It's just
90
90 minutes away.
It can't be that far.
But it's better than the Hamptons.
90 minutes isn't bad.
It's not. It's an easy drive.
It's not that bad. 90 minutes. I feel like I used to live in Coney Island. I used to take the train every day to work on 42nd Street. It took me an hour and 15. What's another 15 minutes? You know?
And when you're in your car and you have like.
What's one piece of advice you would tell a couple that want to either adopt or have a surrogate and have a child?
Mm-hmm. I would say.
Listen to this.
I know I'm listening. This is actually a question that I'm thinking.
I would say the first thing, you know what I would say is tune out. Okay, so I don't know why in the US, everyone is so negative with babies. So like so many parents I've talked, I get it. Like parents are exhausted and burnt out, but like people literally talk shit on their kids and the whole process of baby, and it's horrible. And like, it's not, I mean, yes, I have help. It's challenging, yes, but it's the most amazing thing ever. Like, so my biggest tip is like, just don't believe all the negativity. Yeah, your life's gonna change. Be prepared for that. But it's the most amazing thing. Like when I look at my son in the eyes and when he takes steps into my arms, and it's like, it puts your whole life into a new perspective. It helps you cut out the shit in your life that you're like, your time becomes so much more valuable when you're like, okay, like these toxic friends who are annoying, like you don't even have the luxury of being like, yeah, let me hang out with them for dinner Thursday. You're like, no, like so for me, having my son has like been the ultimate putting my life into perspective, like kind of cleaning house. I've gotten fit because I want to be, so my experience is maybe not like everyone else's, but for me, it's been like just life-changing in so many amazing ways. So embrace the life change instead of, just listening to the negativity. Your life does not have to change. Like my son has been to 10 countries. He travels. I think I'm just more European in the way that I'm raising my son. My son is a part of my life. He's on the BK ride. Like he's going to get an amazing life, but I'm not stopping and changing my life to be around my son, which I think some people do and then get really upset that they're missing out. Like I don't know.
But right now it's working. But once
he's in school, it's going to be
school. It's going to be
sure.
Is
it's
going
to be different.
Is he going to boarding school? Is he going to public school? Is he going to private school?
I'm a public school kid. I'm like grew up middle class. Like I mean, we'll see. I don't think I want to raise him in New York City. I think I want to raise him in Pennsylvania. Like I like him having exposure to the city, but I'm not like the New York City
Are you moving there
type
eventually?
Yeah, I mean, I have my farm there. A majority of my time I spend in Pennsylvania. It's my like primary residence. My
family. Your parents are?
It's my parents, my 2 brothers. And it's just like a really beautiful, actually on my farm, the elementary school is like walking distance. I hear the kids during the day on the recess yard. So kind of want to like take him to school on his little pony.
Is that where you grew up?
I grew up in Doylestown, like in that area. So it's a really nice place to grow up. So.
Wow, I love that. So like you're going back to your roots.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
That.
Yeah, COVID brought me home.
I love that. So I guess we're going to jump into like our stories of the day. We usually I don't know if you've heard our podcast. I'm sure you've heard all 12 episodes and up to date.
How else do you think I pass time on a plane?
I know. Yeah. So we usually like mention a couple of our favorite stories that we've read this week. Obviously, the first one that we wanted to speak to you about isn't so current, but we saw the Delta stuff.
Delta scandal.
The Delta scandal. Let me tell you something, okay? Like the first,
He was furious.
I was furious. I was so pissed because like I've been Delta loyal for what?
He got me into Delta.
I told Christian like if you want to be in a relationship with me, like the only way you can be in a relationship with me is if you are a Delta user. Like that's it. Like you got to be loyal to Delta. And he was like, okay. He didn't even like have a loyalty program at the time.
My boyfriend didn't have pre-check and global entry, and I was like,
This
I'm
ain't
not
gonna
waiting
work.
for you. So just so you know, like
He
if you
doesn't
don't-
wait for me.
I'm like, if you don't get it-
I couldn't do it in the past, but right now I can apply for it, but I
Yeah.
haven't done it because I'm a little lazy. But he takes up grades and leaves me in the coach. Well, we don't
I
play
don't-
coach
and
anymore.
he's
but,
tall. That's
and he used to leave me behind.
Not my
I didn't
problem.
work so hard to get here to like not
like, I
enjoy
didn't
it.
work
And I'm like,
hard.
and we were like 3 months
I
dating.
feel like my
when-
parents are fighting right
Yeah.
now. Help.
I didn't work this
and
hard.
also sometimes, the airport and security check,
Yeah.
he leaves me behind. And like, you see the couples
But do you
together.
not have
this mother
pre-check?
fucker- Wait, what?
Do you not have TSA pre-check or
No, I
clear?
not any of that. I just got my green card a
No,
year
but you
ago.
can still get pre-check without a green card. But
Kidding?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
And
well, I didn't
global
know that.
get your global entry, get your
Yeah. Well, back then doing global entry
we
is
can
way
talk about it
easier.
after the podcast.
Yeah.
Today,
there's- yeah.
Today doing global entry is way easier.
You go
Back
to Bowling
then,
Green. There's like right
yeah.
around the corner.
Back then, I had to go to the airport,
Yeah.
and you have to wait a line, and you have to like do like an
Can you come
appointment,
with me?
and it took hours.
Yeah.
No.
There's
You're-
an app for anyone listening. If you want global entry, the biggest complaint I hear is, oh, there's no appointments for like 6 months. When you apply for global entry, yeah, there won't be anything available, but there's an app called Appointment Scanner, and it's $30, and it scans all day for appointments, and people cancel all day every day. So if you're in New York City, the best place to go is Bowling Green, and you just sign up for this app, and within hours they'll text you opening of appointment, like literally for the next day.
Wow.
So it's
I didn't even know about this.
$30 appointment scanner. Everyone who wants global entry, it will change the game because you'll get appointments at your desired airport or location whenever
All
you want.
right, I'll do it then.
It's the best.
And remember,
thing.
a lot of credit, if you have Amex Platinum, Chase Sapphire, all of those will reimburse you for global entry.
Yeah.
And
Chase
global
Sapphire.
entry, once you get global entry, it automatically gives you pre-check.
Yep.
So it's one-stop shop. Like, get global entry, it'll
I
get
told you
your
this. I'm like,
pre-check.
you don't do TSA pre-check, you just get global entry because it's both.
Two
Fine.
birds, one stone.
It's the best thing I've ever
Are
done
you
myself.
sure? Then you're not
But
gonna
Christian, they
have
have to do a background check, so you might not pass.
how that.
Wouldn't be his first thing for failing for his background check. Ooh.
Wait, what? I just got my green card. They
Yeah, they-
search
It was
every
something
little-
else. It was something else. But anyways,
Ooh.
scandal. Next week's episode.
not on the podcast.
So back to the Delta scandal. We saw that the CEO or like the president
Yeah.
or someone went reversed and
So it's really interesting. So he was at a Rotary Club meeting and someone asked him about it. He said, yeah, we probably went too far. We'll be like walking it back. But hey, let's think about that. There haven't been any formal communication since. And the CEO told like during a non-related press interview. So it's not a real, like everyone's like, oh, he totally walked it back. We still have no idea what
Yeah.
he may just, it's still,
he might not do anything.
But they already rolled the changes.
No.
So the changes were announced and it was like big. Basically like for elite status, for lounge access, they basically were like, all of you people who don't spend a lot of money, like you're poor, go away, basically. And Delta is known for being the most like customer friendly. So it was just like very off brand for them all at once to kind of 1-2 punch like their best, or a portion of their best customers.
Did they lose their TPG award yet?
Well, I mean, people still love Delta. I mean, beyond this change, Delta's a great airline.
It
It's
is.
still the most on time. It's still the nicest employees in general.
But let's put it on perspective because I really don't understand. Like, believe it or not, I'm gold. I haven't passed any other. He's diamond.
Yeah.
What will be the big change for
So
a
the big
gold
change
person?
will
What
be
the-
like you'll be silver if you're lucky. You'll probably like you very well may not even be at your current levels. You won't be anything.
Oh, I'm
So
leaving you
that's why
behind.
people are like, I've been gold for 10 years, and then
I've been gold
basically, it's
have to be
$20,000 to be diamond today. And they raised it to $35,000 spent. I mean, that's a huge. And the year before they had raised it 50%. So it's like, it's a lot. They basically are saying to people like you guys, like go F yourself.
Yeah.
Like unless you start spending huge amounts of money on big business class tickets, like we don't want you. Which So anyway, we're still waiting to hear Delta. Everyone's like, oh, they're walking back the changes, and he even said it was too much too soon, but he didn't say the changes. He was just like, it was too much at once. They're still going to do what they said. That's my message to everyone.
Right.
Like, don't think that like, oh, the CEO at this Rotary Club random press conference, like, oh, it's not going back to normal. So
I mean, if you were to reverse one thing, what do you think that would be?
I think the big thing is like the 6 visits to the Sky Club per year. If you have like, for example, the Delta Reserve card, which is like $550. The only point of that is to get lounge access, really. So that I think they'll like give more visits or like much more
6?
lenient. Yeah, 6 and each. So if you like were to fly from here to
Florida,
you know, with the stop in Atlanta, like each visit would be 1. So like 2 round trips, you could be like done with your, or 3 round trips.
oh my god.
So I think they'll loosen it up a bit. But the message I have for everyone is like the airlines are not loyal to you. Like don't be loyal to them. I think the biggest tip I have now is like be loyal to your credit card. Your Chase Sapphire, Capital One Venture, Amex Gold, Platinum. Those points are way more valuable. I hope this is a wake up call to Delta flyers because so many of them I know will put all their spend on these Delta cards to hopefully get elite status. Like ask yourself, what is elite status actually? Like, are you getting upgraded to first class with gold? Like, I mean, it's nice, but it's not really worth spending so much money to achieve this thing of like potential upgrades in the future. Delta's selling 85% of their first class seats. Like as a gold, you're not getting first class upgrades. Like back in the day, as a gold in New York, you could get upgrades to LA, but that game has changed. And so I tell
I get
people,
upgraded almost
But you're diamond.
99% of my trips.
Yeah.
Which is like I'm gonna miss.
But it's
that.
upgrade to business or to like premium select? To
business. Yeah.
And when he books,
And when I book
Man,
regular, and
yeah.
I get Comfort Plus right away, and then like
Yeah.
closer to date, I'll get
Yeah.
business.
okay, we're Delta fans. What other? You agree that Delta is the best? Or
Delta's
you-
the best experience in general, but there's other airlines, you know. I mean,
What's your second best?
the second, I mean, I'm a United guy. Delta's a better experience. I like United because it's out of Newark. So for me, it's much easier from downtown Manhattan, Newark. Like JFK is horrible. Like
Yeah.
I 2.5 hours sometimes. Like
Yeah,
there's
it's hard to
nothing
get there.
worse. I mean, Newark can be too, but you know, United's pretty good. American, I'm not a huge fan of, but they're internationally. American actually has nicer planes. Like Delta does a great job with branding, but Delta has some janky planes
Oh,
with
yeah, they
those
do.
tiny little 767 seats,
They do.
like the little coffins. Like Delta brands itself as the best, but like there's a huge portion of Delta's fleet is those like rickety 767s.
He's opening my eyes because you have me blinded at Delta.
But like, you know, I don't love American, but they're 777s and they're direct aisle access on every plane. And, you know, when you fly American and United internationally in business class, unlike Delta, where if you book a $10,000 ticket to Tel Aviv, at the Delta Lounge, you're going to be, it's like the Hunger Games. You're
Yeah.
struggling to get like a stool with, you know, a buffet. Whereas American and United, they have specific lounges for business class. So when you're on that business class ticket, like the Polaris Lounge at Newark, it's VIP dining. You sit down, you have a full meal, wine, drinks, like, and American has similar. So much, much nicer lounges for people actually flying in business class. Delta doesn't. They're eventually going to roll out
Yeah.
these Delta One lounges. So each airline has its, and Delta miles are the worst by far. Like
Really?
American and United miles are way more valuable. Now, that being said, all of them are getting devalued. My biggest tip for those listening at home is pay attention to foreign frequent flyer programs. So Air France Flying Blue, Air Canada Aeroplan, they're all transfer partners of Chase and Amex. So don't transfer your Amex points to Delta. Delta miles, it's now 500,000 miles one way to go to Europe. Years ago, it used to be 100,000 round trip, but Delta keeps, some people call them the sky pesos because they just keep increasing the amount of
Yeah.
so United and American miles are more valuable in general. But the most valuable points are your credit card points. So pay attention. Use credit cards that give you transferable points. The Amex, the Chase, the Capital One, Bilt. I'm an advisor for Bilt. If you pay rent, get
Yes.
a Bilt credit card. It is the biggest no-brainer. No annual fee. You earn points on your rent. So many people are like, how does that work? That can't be possible. It is possible.
Does it work for all buildings or it's specific?
All buildings. Even if your landlord's 90 years old and takes a check, Bilt will cut a check. You'll get to put it on your Bilt card, 0 fees. You earn the points. You improve your credit score because for many people, rents
to
are
do that.
biggest.
What are we waiting for?
I don't know why I've been waiting. I met
Yeah.
Encore and he like told me about this too, and I was like, I
I'm
gotta
telling
make
you,
this.
Bilt's incredible. Plus,
Yeah.
they have the best transfer partners: United, American, Hyatt.
And like you'll make like 80,000, 100. Is it like $1.1 a dollar
Yeah,
a point?
$1 per point for rent, double on dining, or a double on travel and triple on dining.
And
2x. Yeah.
What credit card would you say like? I know there's great. I mean, every time I
Yeah.
apply for a credit card, I go on the points guy to see where
Thank you.
to apply, what to apply for. I know like some are great for travel, some
Yeah.
are great for
Here
food.
are the best ones that I mean. Amex Gold is the best Amex. That may shock people, but
I
you
have
get
it.
4x on dining. 4x on dining and
know, I have it
groceries.
too.
And the Platinum's only 1x on everything, which people don't. People are always like, "Oh, the Platinum's the most expensive. That must be the best." It's actually one of the worst Amex cards for earning points. It's great for lounge access and whatever, but for actual point spend, it's amazing how many of my friends have the Platinum, and they'll be like, "Yeah, points guy, I'm paying with my Platinum card." I'm like, "You're an idiot." And they're like, "What do you mean? Platinum's the best?" I'm like, "No, you could be getting 400%, 4 times more points by using the Gold card." So Amex Gold is the best for dining and groceries. Chase Sapphire Reserve, triple on travel and dining. So travel includes Ubers, New York City public transit, parking, tolls, all travel sites. So I put travel on the Sapphire. And one other thing, points are one thing, but I encourage everyone to look at the perks. So this year, like all the airlines are delayed. If you put your flight on a Sapphire, for example, if your flight's delayed 6 or more hours, you can get $1,000 per person to get hotel, rental car, to rebook yourself. So the airlines are not going to give you reimbursement in general for when things go wrong, but your credit card will.
Wow.
And most people don't realize that. So anyone listening, look at your credit cards and look at what the travel protections, it's called trip interruption and cancellation coverage. Use credit cards that offer it so you can have your points and your perks.
Oh, I love that. I didn't even know about that.
I do have the Sapphire. I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, I have the Sapphire
While I'm
and the
on
Gold.
a roll, I just need everyone else to know, you guys probably do shopping. A lot of your listeners love fashion and shopping online. What people don't realize, you should be shopping every expense online, shop through airline shopping portals. What is this? So basically, you go for American Airlines, you can basically put in your frequent flyer number and then shop online anywhere, similar to like cashback, Ebates and whatever. They have this for airline miles, and it gets really lucrative. It's like Saks, Neiman Marcus, you can get like 6 American Airlines miles per dollar spent, plus the dollars you earn from your credit card. So it's double dipping. You get your airline miles for shopping portal and your credit card points for using a credit card. There's a whole guide to this. Just Google the points guide. Like on our beginner's guide, we have a whole guide to shopping portals. They're free. And so many people, I'm sure you too, don't take advantage of this.
No, my God.
For every single dollar you spend online, you could be earning a ton more points. They add up super quickly.
Oh my God, I feel like we've been doing this all wrong.
Oh, man. Stop.
I'm like, now it's giving me motivation to go shopping.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like now, like I'm getting it a sale. Like I'm getting a point on my bank account, my
And-
credit
yeah.
card, plus I'm getting miles.
Exactly. And like
Double
for American
points.
Airlines flyers, the miles and points that you spend through the shopping portals count towards your elite status, your loyalty points, that's how I'm like top tier on American just from my obsessive shopping habits.
You do have an obsessive shopping habit. I remember the last time we spoke about it.
It's like matches fashion. Like now the algorithms know, and Instagram, I just like on my way here, I was like Macaj ad. I'm like, need, must have. And just like, it knows my soul. Like it's my Instagram shopping. I need an intervention. I don't think I'm going to get it from you two though.
No, I think we'd be encouraging
like,
it.
keep going.
You'll definitely not get it from Christian. Christian has a terrible shopping habit. Terrible.
Dude, do you guys shop on Instagram?
No.
I've never shopped on Instagram.
I'm very smart shopping.
No.
I know where to find like
Yeah.
good deals on like current collections and stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I scan my
I do my
favorite sites,
homework.
yeah.
I don't use the right credit cards to buy it. I don't get the points, but I get the right value.
Yeah.
You know what I
probably
do
save
though?
more.
I'll get an affiliates link and I'll get a kickback on it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you
we do
should.
that too.
I'll be like, if it's $1,000, the shirt I got 50% off, but if I use my link for 10%, oh, okay, I got 25% off. Perfect, I'll take it.
Perfect.
I'm like, it's on sale.
Making money by saving money, my favorite way.
I'm like, basically, I'm making money. Like, I might
Literally.
as well spend it and make it.
Gay boy math. Is that
I love
what that's
it.
called?
It's like math is math.
Girl math.
Girl
gay boy
math. This is gay boy math.
It's like girl math to the end.
Yeah.
Like,
So Christian, didn't you share with your next?
Okay,
articles
I just read a couple of things that caught my eye today and
Yesterday.
Yesterday. So this past Fashion Week in Milan, Donatella Versace said a few words in an award show, and the article reads, Donatella Versace slams Italian government.
About their anti-LGBTQ
It's-
policies. Did you see them?
It's awful what's happening there.
crazy where they're actually, for LGBTQ parents, they're like separating birth certificates. Like,
If they're not biological
Insane.
parent, you're not legally bound to the kid,
Yeah.
and they are not allowing people to go internationally to have a surrogate. You cannot do it in Italy. You cannot do it internationally either. It's completely banned.
it's insane.
I mean,
It's
going
actually
back-
most of Europe. My fertility doctor, which I love, Dr. Danishman from San Diego Fertility Clinic, he does tons of LGBTQ, helps families. But he goes to Europe. He's like the number one, because almost nowhere in Europe can they do surrogacy. They have to, most of them come to the US to do it. And now Italy is trying to punish people who even go abroad. I mean, it's wild. But good for Donatella.
I know.
She's our queen.
Here's the
but
thing, because she's the only one speaking up.
Yeah.
Because most, Italy is such a...
religious country. I mean, the
Yeah.
Vatican's are. I don't want to say like it kind of makes sense that they're going backwards.
Yeah, but they don't separate state
and church.
Yeah.
and that's a big problem there.
I know, but you could say that about most of the Middle East. You know, like they do the same. I understand like where she's coming from, and like I'm obviously, you know.
Well, right
pro
now they're
everything
having a
she's-
moment. People is going on the streets
Right.
protesting, but no one is open. No one is
Yeah.
speaking about it, and she was the only one saying it. That's why I like.
I've seen
so
I've
much.
seen a lot of Italians like that I follow on Instagram like were like posting about it and like upset about it
Yeah.
and like
But
posting
I
about
didn't
it.
know that most European countries are
Yeah.
not allowing
Yeah.
surrogacy.
That's
Yeah.
what I told this to Christian. I'm like, Christian, yesterday when Christian brought this up to me, I was like, well, Christian, are you also mad about XYZ?
Well, I
and he's,
remember
well, you
Saj
can't
that-
say this. Like, I'm like, you know, like, are you? Is it just because you're obsessed with Donatella and obsessed with
Yeah,
Italy
yeah.
that like you're upset over it? Like, that's what I was trying to get
I mean,
with it.
I'm Team Christian here, though. You can,
I'm like, are you
not to
mad?
take sides.
Yeah.
And another thing I wrote, I read. Sorry, you're making me a little nervous.
Oh my God, why?
Because you're the second guest, and last episode Isaac was here, and I was still a little.
Christian was like a little quiet. I'm like, Christian, you're so quiet. I'm like, whenever it's just him and I, he doesn't shut the fuck up. Like, it's like
Yeah,
crazy.
now that we got, so I'm learning here. So the other thing, and it's Dolce & Gabbana is opening a building in Brickell in Miami. So they're venturing on real estate. And there's the whole thing about Miami being the new money capital of the United States.
What are your thoughts on Dolce & Gabbana in general? by
I
the
was
way?
going to put it on you guys. You know, I like Dolce fits me really nice. Like I can wear Dolce off the rack.
Same.
And so from a just pure fashion perspective, their latest collections I've not been so into, but yeah, I mean they've made really anti-trans
Yeah.
kind of old school mentality.
And they haven't opened up their mouth about what's going on with the government
So-
in Italy.
You know, I don't like respect them, you know, for their for their lack of taking a stance.
But we do love the clothing.
Yeah.
I do. But
I mean, yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, I don't like. I mean, I like the clothing. I don't love the clothing,
Yeah.
but
I think you're a little curious to see what was going to happen with that hotel, because they are furnishing everything. They're even putting
Yeah.
bathropes in the bathroom.
Wow.
They'll come.
I'm sure it'll
three
be
different
successful.
colors.
I mean,
think
the
it'll be
Armani
nice.
hotels are so successful.
Yeah.
Have you
like,
been to the Armani hotel in
in
Miami?
Dubai? No, not in Miami, but
Is it a hotel or is it a building?
I've stayed at the Versace Hotel in Dubai.
How was it?
It's you know, I remember I was there for 2 years ago it was nice. I mean, over the top, but like the beds are super comfy. The Armani Hotel's in the Burj, and it's like beautiful. It's like floors 60 to 90. Like, I like these fashion brands creating like hotel concepts.
this is gonna be an apartment building. I think it's for sale.
Oh,
actually.
interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not even
Yeah.
a hotel.
No,
It's not
it's
a
not a
hotel.
hotel.
No, I think that's like.
I'm sure it'll do well.
I'm sure. Yeah, and also Miami's booming. I
Have
feel
you
like-
ever considered to move to Miami?
I actually lived in Miami from 20 when my blog took off. My accountant, I remember, because I was rarely in New York. This was like 2011. He's like, dude, if I have one piece of advice, go here are 3 choices, like Wyoming, Texas, or Florida. And I was like,
Why?
I booked a flight because there's no state tax. So
Yeah.
like when and it was the
I knew-
best decision
yeah.
I ever did, because the next year I sold my company, but I was a Florida resident living in Miami. So it paid, you know, I lived in Miami for years. But I sold my place in 2019.
But since I know you, you've always been here in New York.
I've been here, yeah, mostly. I mean, I've always had a presence in New York, like our company's here, but
I could swear you were living here.
He lives on a plane.
Yeah.
Literally. Let's be honest. You live on a plane. You don't live here. You live on a plane. Every time I feel like I see you on Instagram, like this guy.
Yeah.
Like you were just in Guatemala, you said?
Guatemala,
Yeah.
highly recommend.
You were just
Beautiful.
at the Beyonce concert.
At the Beyonce concert.
Beyonce Houston.
Oh
that
my-
was like unbelievable.
She's from there, no?
Yeah.
So it
Megan
was
Thee
amazing.
We were on the Club Renaissance. So which was the best experience I've ever had at a concert. Club Renaissance was just the area around the whole, like where the stage jutted out. But it was crazy how not crowded it was. No one, and I'm tall, so I hate concerts because I always get in fights. I don't sit in the back. I will only sit front row to concerts. So when people just are like, I'm like, work harder, do better. Not my problem. Get a better ticket next time. Like, I'm such a bitch, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not going.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
not
here,
apologizing
like-
for being tall.
No, and like,
Christian goes through the same thing.
yeah, I'm
He
like,
does
I
the
don't know
same
what
thing.
I'm sure it sucks to have a tall person, but like, you know,
It's
I'm
life.
not moving. So,
Yeah.
you know, like, you know, the whole concert, people will just be tapping. I'm like, if you're nice to me, I'll at least take a photo for your
Yeah.
Facebook that no one's going to watch, by the way. Like, everyone's so concerned about getting concert footage. I'm like, anyway, Club Renaissance was amazing, and it was Jay-Z, Michelle, Kelly Rowland, Lizzo, Tina, like everyone was right behind us. So
Wow.
it was Beyonce singing, and then it was like 30 feet, and then them, and then just us dancing. It was like this. Lizzo was living her best life,
Wow.
like, and Beyonce's just like iconic. Like
Wow.
she's such a performer.
We didn't get to see her because I was in France when she
Yeah.
was performing in New York, but now the concert is going to theaters. So we
Yeah.
might just do that, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's worth it. It's so artistic. Like
Yeah.
it was really amazing.
I want to see her. I mean, the tour's not over yet, is it? No.
It is over.
Oh, it's
but
over.
she hasn't announced if she'd. I'd be shocked if she didn't. But she's got so much money. Like
Yeah. No, if she didn't extend, if it's
Yeah.
over, that was the last concert.
yeah,
Then
like New
she's-
Orleans was like the next week was the last one, but it was amazing.
Oh my god, I'm so jealous. I wanted to go, but I didn't find anyone to go with me because Christian was in France.
Yeah.
Well, now I know you wanted to go. I would have
Next
called you
time.
next time.
I'm always up for some Beyonce.
When Celine Dion comes back, no, I'm coming with you and Claudia. I
This is
told
the
you guys
biggest,
this.
Like one of the biggest stressors in my life is like Celine Dion's like well-being. She's my number one. I've seen her.
I need her to
So
come
sad.
back. We've seen her literally a week before the
Yeah, I saw her March
pandemic.
5th that week. My birthday's March 7th.
Oh yeah,
She
we
came up to me at that concert and she
were at the same concert.
She took off her red wristband and like rubbed it down her chest and looked at me and flicked it to me. And I still have, I like huffed it the whole night. I like, have it in my safe.
We
at
were
home.
there.
We I had tickets for her Tel Aviv performance before she canceled.
I had so many of her tickets for that
Yeah.
tour that never ended up happening. So I don't know. Well, she may never perform again.
I
but
know.
let's put
At
it
least
into
we
the
got to see
universe.
her.
Celine, we love you. We're sending you all of our good vibes.
all the good vibes. Oh my god.
Should we jump in the question?
Yes, we have a little question format where I kind of like wanted to ask you a bunch of like a speed round of questions
Cool.
first, but you did answer a couple of the answers, but like
Well,
two of them, but it's fine. Like
I'm a compulsive liar, though. Ask again. Maybe you'll get another answer.
But the thing is, like, it has to be the first thing that comes to mind. Like, you cannot like no and no
Okay.
nothing. Okay, favorite hotel for a beach vacation.
The Brando in Tahiti.
Favorite hotel for an adventurous vacation.
Just because I was just there, Casa Santo Domingo in Guatemala in Antigua.
Favorite card for travel points.
Card. Oh, favorite credit card?
You said it, the Chase Sapphire.
Chase
Yeah,
Sapphire
you did.
Reserve.
Favorite card for food points. You said it too.
Amex Gold, 4X, dining and grocery.
Favorite overall card.
This is going to be Capital One Venture X. It's 2 points on everything. So that's what if I'm not shopping at like a bonus category place, like Capital One Venture X gets almost all my spend.
What's one place everyone should visit before they die?
South Africa,
What's one place that's overrated?
Bali,
Do you prefer cold trips or hot trips?
both. I literally went from Mykonos to Greenland in 1 week this summer, and both were spectacular. But if I honestly, I cannot say enough. Like winter wonderland trips. I'm doing Finnish Lapland this summer. Like being Iceland is unbelievable. Like I love nature. Like feeling like you're like. So I would actually skew like a amazing cold adventure trip.
I'm the complete opposite.
I want
need
to
a
go to
hot-
Iceland so badly.
I need to
He
be
doesn't wanna go.
Amazing, and it's 4.5. It's closer than LA. Like it's like
Is it 4 hours to go
it's
there?
so easy and it's so beautiful.
Wow, I had no
Stunning.
idea. It's 4 hours from here.
Maybe you can take me
It's
for our
so
7th anniversary.
easy. I flew coach there because there was no business class.
Did you guys
Did
hear
that
that, you
go?
guys? We have
I
the
flew
exclusive.
coach.
Brian Kelly flew coach.
Well, I'm a diva. I booked 3 for me and my boyfriend. I booked the middle seat open, so we had like the exit row through. It was fine, but yeah, that was when we went to Greenland with Martha Stewart. That was a trip.
Wow. That sounds
She's
adventurous.
a queen.
What's one place you've been to and know for a fact you're never going to return?
I mean, I'm going to say China. I mean, never say never. I've done it. It's beautiful, historical, but like, I don't trust like the government with what's going on. And like,
Yeah.
my friends got detained there once. And,
Ooh.
you know, like I really now, especially being a dad, like my spidey sense is that like going to countries where there's no human rights, like controls, like it's definitely, you know,
You're
my friends
thinking
were at a
about
gay
it.
party and everyone got impounded into like paddy wagons and they pulled hair and drug tested everyone. And my friends who had been in Mykonos and stuff literally got jailed and then
shit.
deported. It was like a wild experience.
Wow.
So it was very kind of an anti-gay sort of vibe.
Well, we're
That's
not
not
going
all
there.
of China, obviously. And China is an amazing destination, but if I had to choose one,
What's your favorite place in Latin America?
I mean, I'm gonna say I'm going to say Guatemala because I've been so many times and I really, really love it. But I mean, Argentina is kind of amazing too. And I really want to explore more.
Have you been to Venezuela?
I've dated a Venezuelan or two in my day.
Christian was waiting for that answer.
No, I would love
Venezuelan were good people.
No, Venezuelans are amazing. And I remember when
They're crazy.
This was 2017 or 16, he was like, I was like, I want to go visit your family. I'm a traveler. Don't worry. And he's like, his family was like, no. They're like, they were like, we'll meet you in Aruba. We met in Aruba instead.
Where I lived for 10 years before moving to the States. And I keep telling Moti, I wouldn't take you to Venezuela right now. Maybe in a few years when things are better.
It's a shame. I know everyone I've talked to who's been is so beautiful.
It
like
is beautiful.
It's a shame.
What's your favorite country in the Middle East?
Israel. I've been to Israel multiple times and it's just so.
Are you going for Pride next year?
If you guys invite me.
I'm going to come through. I told
never
Savo
been.
and Pedro.
I did it for Eurovision, which was like mini Pride that one year.
I wish I went to that. I wish I went to that.
fun.
Yeah.
I didn't go last year because he kicked me out of Israel. He said he wanted to do it alone.
He said he wants to go back, so he went back. He came to Israel for his
we
first
have
time.
a dog, and I needed to
That's
take
why he
care
went
of
back.
the dog.
I'm like, someone has to watch the kid.
So
He
maybe
wants to
next
be.
year we'll go
him.
together.
Next year we're definitely going. Okay, so now we have a couple more questions, Christian.
I don't know. You just ask them all.
I know. I feel like you want me to ask them all.
Yeah, you go for it. No, go for it.
I feel like.
Oh, this is the part I get why the podcast is called
Bickering.
Bickering.
Oh,
we're
this
always
is subtle. This is so subtle. Like you gotta listen. Like there's like some.
What's your favorite clothing optional resort?
I don't know if I've never been to a clothing
I
optional.
knew that was.
Have you heard of a
like the Fort Lauderdale ones?
I know the Fort Lauderdale.
I feel like the people that go to
Old
clothing optional
people.
resorts are people you don't want to see.
Yeah, I was just
naked.
in Fort Lauderdale, and like the age
Yeah.
situation bracket there.
Have
was
you ever
like
been to a clothing optional resort?
in what?
Would you go to a clothing optional resort?
No,
Yeah.
well,
He would probably
I
go.
for sure, but I just was
Yeah.
curious. Is there a good like gay resort that you've been that you will advise?
You know, I stayed at the Axel Hotel in Berlin once.
But Berlin is like very hardcore.
Hardcore, where instead of like do not disturb sign, which is what I always have on my door, it was like, please come in now. Like it was, but I'm a hotel snob, so the service at like the Axel hotels, no offense to the Bran, but it's a very budget, like, you know, I remember like the food service, we left it outside of our door and for 2 days was in the hallway. Like,
my God.
It's like, oh God, if they're not cleaning, like nothing's getting clean. And let's be real, like gay hotels need to be cleaned.
Absolutely. if any resort needs to get cleaned, it's that.
Yeah.
No, that's about it. That's all I wanted to ask. You go on. You
Oh,
have a
that was
bunch
like
of-
that was
yeah.
your next. Okay, well, do you do anything for self care? What's like your self care routine?
I love so for travelers, I cannot recommend stretching. So in Chelsea, there's a place called Stretched Space, which I go to every
You just
week.
posted that on your Instagram.
55, and it's not even sponsored. I love it so much. Everyone I've recommended there is like, holy shit, this has changed my, being so tall and traveling, like being in a seat. So they basically on a heated table, 55 minutes, I get stretched by like, and it feels so good. And then they use a Theragun for 5 minutes on your body. You can tell them where you want to get Theragun.
What's the name of the place again?
Stretched Space.
I thought it was
There's
like
a bunch of
15
stretching.
minutes.
You can do 25 minutes or I do 55, which I'm
It's
so
like a
big.
massage. Yeah.
It's a massage, but it's like better. It actually, you leave there like it kind of, it's like that hurts good, like, but you wake up amazing. So that's part of my self-care. And then riding horses. I started riding horses in 2020 as like a pandemic hobby, and I'm obsessed. And I have 5 horses now. And
Wow.
you guys got to come to my farm.
I can't wait.
I have so many, just putting my phone down, spending time with the horse is like, that's my recenter. when
Christian's
things-
thinking of all of his like campaign shoots that he'll shoot on the horses.
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
what he's thinking.
Right next to them, not on
Yeah.
top of them.
No, yeah, I
I'm-
know.
I'm not scared of horses,
Yeah.
but like
They're
every
strong.
time I ride a horse, I feel like they're crushing my balls while I'm on it. So I've never had a good experience.
I ride English and like posting, you come out of the saddle, a part of it, and you come down. So it takes a while to get the whole like
so they get used to the
ball
pain.
crushing. No, you figure it out.
Last time we were back horse riding, I think it was in the Hamptons.
Oh, yeah, with,
that fall, and I just remember
tears coming out of
No, it
yeah.
wasn't comfortable.
It wasn't the vibe.
Yeah, have your kids first and
Yeah.
then start riding horses.
Yeah, no, we're using a surrogate with his little swimmers. I'm not.
Yeah. He's gonna be a nice Jewish boy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Brian, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
For all those listening, please follow Brian. He's incredible. at Brian Kelly, and of course the Points Guy. You can follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, all that stuff. Rate us, do all the good things. I'm at Moti and Kari, at Christian Bennick, and we will see you next week.
Safe travels.
Bye.